Breezie this, Breezie that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Breezie this, Breezie that. Ain't nobody working like Breezie, and that's a fact.
Welcome to the Keys to Victory, brought to you by 49erswebzone.com. If you want to read the article, you can go to www.49erswebzone.com. Check out the full article where you can read down a more in-depth breakdown on the Keys to Victory, Week 6 against the Cleveland Browns. Let's go ahead and get right down to it. All right, so I got 5 keys that I feel like the San Francisco 49ers must pay attention to. Now, look, they're headed to Cleveland, all right? It's like a home away from home for Kyle Shanahan. A lot of things have changed over the past week or so. The Niners are looking to improve to 6-0. The Cleveland Browns are looking to get their 3rd win. But we're not here for that. We want to know how the San Francisco 49ers are going to defeat the Cleveland Browns, improve to 6-0, remain undefeated, and they can do it in these 5 ways. Let's talk about number 1. Let's talk about rhythm. The Niners, Kyle Shanahan's going to have to figure out how to get his team into some type of rhythm. Run, pass, run, screen, you name it. Get Brock Purdy, the quarterback, into a rhythm early. Now, that doesn't mean that Brock's not going to sit there and try to throw down the field very deep, but he's playing against a much tougher opponent. I would say that the Cleveland Browns defense is probably the toughest defense that Brock Purdy has faced all season long. The Cleveland Browns have the number 1 ranked defense overall in the NFL. They're only allowing about 15 plus points per game. All right. So look, the defense isn't giving up much. As far as yardage, it's not even 200 yards, 196.4 yards per game. When it comes to total yards, this Cleveland Browns defense is truly a legit defense. Now, you can factor in different types of context about the teams that they played, things like that. But I don't want to get into that. I think the Niners need to figure out a way to establish the rhythm, right? So get Brock Purdy into a rhythm. Expect a lot of quick throws from Brock Purdy, not just necessarily screen throws, screen plays to negate that ferocious pass rush, but some quick throws, quick slants over the middles, things like that. I think Brock Purdy is going to get into a rhythm early because once Brock Purdy gets into a rhythm, he's a lock. What does that mean? That means he's going to unlock his ability to be able to throw deep down the field. I feel like the Niners can take advantage of certain different parts of this defense. So if they can get into a rhythm early, they'll be good to go. Number 2, let's talk about balance. I talked about mixing the pass, mixing the run, mixing the pass. Expect Kyle Shanahan to call a very balanced game, whether it's 30 rush attempts, 40 rush attempts. It'll be, I would say, 35 to 35. That would be pretty darn balanced. I expect Christian McCaffrey to get the bulk load of the carry. Potentially Elijah Mitchell may be back. We'll see. He's been practicing. So that's going to help the run game as well. You got Jordan Mason. You got TDP, who may be inactive this game, depending on the status of Elijah Mitchell. But the 49ers got to come out with a balanced attack. Throw in the air. Get the ball down the field. Continue to rush for 4 to 5 yards per carry. I say, look, if the Niners could get 3 yards per carry, at least 3 yards per carry, it's a 4th and 1 just about on every single drive. So I would expect a nice balanced attack from Kyle Shanahan. Again, this helps Brock Purdy see the field. This helps keep that pass rush off of Brock Purdy. Because listen, Brock Purdy's going to get hit. Cleveland Browns hit the quarterbacks. The one thing they do, they're the number 1 team that actually gets hit to the quarterback. So I would like to see balance. Now, you can run at this defensive pass rush. I feel like you can. They give up only 68 points. They're number 4 in the run defense, but just find a way to keep this game balanced. You don't want to go in there with a pass-heavy attack game. Next thing you know, Brock Purdy's throwing 50 times a game, 40 times a game, 50 times a game, and then you find yourself not balanced or unbalanced, right? So expect a quick, balanced attack. Number 3, Let's talk about the protection. Let's talk about protection for Brock Purdy. The offensive line has been doing a pretty good job, but now they're going to be faced with Myles Garrett. They're going to be faced with Zadarius Smith. They're going to have to deal with an edge rush and an interior uh, all game long. Like these guys won't take plays off. Now, listen, Myles Garrett is dealing with some type of a foot injury. Zadarius Smith is green light, looks good to go. They have a pretty darn good front seven, but the 49ers are going to have to figure out a way to pass protect for their quarterback because Brock's going to take the hits. He knows how to take hits. That's the good thing about Brock Purdy. He knows how to take his hits. He knows when to fall. He knows that. But listen, no unexpected hits. That's what I'm talking about. No blindside hits. No unexpected hits. I think Trent Williams will be pretty much dealing with Myles Garrett all game long, depending on if Stefanski decides to move Garrett to the opposite side where Colton McKivitz is. But then that's where I think the Niners get creative in figuring out ways to take away Myles Garrett. You trust Trent to win his one-on-ones against Myles Garrett, but if Myles Garrett does decide to line up on the opposite side, this will be potentially a usage of the tight end named George Kittle, or the Niners can run two tight end sets where they're running one running back, two tight end sets, 12 personnel to help chip the end, to help chip the edge when it comes to Myles Garrett. So there's so many different ways that the 49ers can look to attack and expect the 49ers, even in the protection schemes, expect slide protections, expect max protections at times. Also expect the motions, the Niners are the number one team that utilizes motion, and the Browns are like the number one team at trying to figure it out. They get confused really quick. All right. So this will be a good way to help throw that Browns defense off, that pass rush off, those safeties off, those cornerbacks off. This will be a great way to do so. Expect. I expect the protection from the offensive line to continue to do what they've been doing. They've been making great strides. Now the offensive line just got to work on their penalties. I feel like they work on the penalties to be good. But as far as the protection, I think it's there. But this will be the toughest match. I thought the week before against the Dallas Cowboys was going to be tough, but the offensive line was grade A. Now they're going to go up against a couple of other set of monsters, different types of monsters, pure edge rushing monsters. So it's going to be a little different. I expect the protection to be good. Number 4, do what the 49ers have been doing best in the NFL, and that's stopping the run. They're number 2 in stopping the run, and they're really great at stopping the run. The 49ers have a great front seven. And, kudos to the addition to Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead. They're not allowing running backs to do much. Now, this game is going to be a little bit different with the PJ Walker back there. Not a big scrambling quarterback, but will try to move if he feels he has no other options. He's not going to stay in the pocket. He's going to try to get out the pocket. So we're asking our defense to stop the run, whether it's a quarterback, whether it's a wide receiver like Elijah Moore, which they might put in the backfield, whether it's Kareem Hunt, which will probably come in and spell Jerome Ford. Take away the run, force PJ Walker to be one dimensional. I know that's easy to say. I know it's old school football, but you definitely want a guy that's not used to playing or starting at the quarterback position to throw the ball. That's when the mistakes will happen. That's when the next step comes in, aka number 5, turnovers. The Niners have 9 turnovers. They're the number 1 team in turnovers in the league. The San Francisco 49ers have 8 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. The funny way thing is that the Cleveland Browns are top in giving the ball away, right? 10 total turnovers, 5 interceptions, as well as 5 fumbles. This team turns the ball over. I tell you what, Steve Wilks has gone out and on camera in pressers and said that he wants his defense to focus on 2 things: not giving up the explosive plays being number 1, and then forcing turnovers being number 2. The interceptions are there. You saw Fred Warner punch the ball out of Tony Pollard's hand last week. You're going to see probably Fred Warner punching the ball out of Jerome Ford's hand this week. All right. Expect the turnovers. If the 49ers win the turnover battle, they win the game. It's simple, simple, simple. The 49ers just got to continue their stride. They've been making really great strides on defense and getting turnovers and creating turnovers, and I expect them to continue to do so. Look, if the 49ers stick to these 5 keys to victory, establish a rhythm, make sure that the offense is balanced, protect your quarterback and Brock Purdy, right? That's the key. Protect. Stop the run always. Number one for the San Francisco 49ers. And then generate or create turnovers. The 49ers will be looking to remain undefeated, and they will still continue to be the number one team in football. I'm your boy, Wayne Breezie. Shout out to everybody at 49ers Web Zone. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This is the Keys to Victory. Thanks for watching.